Richard Worker, thelegalteam.co.nz. Once again, if you've got any questions, you can email rodney@morefm.co.nz, and we can confidently ask Richard to answer it on air. And we've been sent one today, anonymously, of course. My work is asking me to take annual leave at Christmas time, but I don't have enough to cover the dates required. I can't afford to not be paid. Can they force me to take leave? Great question.
It is a good question. The first thing I'll say to here is quite a technical question, so I might just need to refer to notes this time around.
No worries.
But it really starts with the employment agreement, and everyone must have an employment agreement. People tend not to maybe look at them closely enough when they're signing on, and the answer to this question is within that employment agreement. So in short, generally annual leave is to be taken by agreement between the employer and the employee, and so that's your starting point. However, if you don't have sufficient leave to be able to take leave when you're required to take leave, then it's a question of negotiating with your employer as to how you're going to do that. There are hybrid models such as you take some unpaid leave and possibly take some leave in advance for going forward, if you can come to that agreement. But if you can't come to an agreement, then the employer is entitled to require you to take leave, but must give you at least 14 days notice to take that leave. For example, if they're closing down at Christmas time, then they can't just keep the whole factory open because one or two people don't have sufficient leave up their sleeve. So I come back to have a look at your employment agreement. Try to go in for that hybrid model. The employer can require you to take leave by giving you sufficient notice, and then it's a question of how that leave is dealt with. As I say, whether it's unpaid leave, whether it's leave in advance, or whatever. So that's sort of the answer there. Each case is case specific, and you've really just got to have a look through your employment agreement and see what you can come up with there.
Unpaid leave and obviously this is just a negotiation type situation, isn't it? And I'm guessing some employers would be open to that, and some. It's just a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think of the Olympic athletes that have got jobs.
Yep.
They would have to do the similar thing. I know myself, we're doing stand-up comedy and having a separate line of work.
Yes.
I guess it's just having these difficult conversations early is I guess the best advice.
Totally. And if you're a valued employee, then your employer will want you to come back and do that. And that's where that hybrid, I mentioned that hybrid model. I mean, they can require you to take unpaid leave. Because you simply don't have the leave, in store, as it were. They have to give you that notice. But if you can talk to the employer, the boss, and sort of just try to come up with a model that suits you, because unpaid leave is quite tricky. I mean, you have to take leave. We have that situation from time to time where, say, somebody needs to go away, have an operation, which may be with recovery time. You have sick leave that you can have a look at. You have your normal annual holidays. But if you go over that time, you may be in for some unpaid leave or indeed leave in advance. And we're good employers, obviously. We deal with our staff to the very best of our ability, and we've never had a problem. It's just a question of being upfront and discussing it.